Hey everybody, it's Chris, and I've got something new to share with you starting today. If you listen to the recent board meeting about how to better learn from our media, or the Tape Tips episode about connecting dots instead of collecting dots, or if you're a subscriber to The Current, then you already know that I've spent the past year or two reconsidering how to use this platform and all the others that we have to get back to Power Company Climbing's original mission, and that's helping climbers get better. We've taken a bunch of steps toward this already. We entirely overhauled our blog and our articles to be easier to sort through, including curated landing pages for most of our popular topics. If you click the resources tab on the website, you'll see all of that. We've changed our podcast process to include things like timestamps and more detailed show notes and blog posts with lots of links that will lead you deeper into whatever the topic is. And we've also got a few new formats that will be more informative and more actionable. And one of those new formats, the first of our new expert series, is coming next week, actually. And I've also revamped our newsletter, The Current, to be a monthly source of deeper learning, as well as a collection place for all of these dots that we'll be connecting. There's a link in your show notes if you want to subscribe to The Current. It's not a sales email, just a place for folks who want to think deeper about how to improve at climbing. Anyway, what we're doing right now, isn't the final step by any means, but I think it's one of the most important. Rather than doing what most podcasts do and jumping from subject to subject with each new episode, we're going to be spending the next couple of months focused on discussing one topic. Through board meetings, expert episodes, tape tips, our new builder series that you'll hear more about later, as well as on YouTube, Instagram, the blog, and the newsletter. For the next 10 or 12 or so episodes, we're going to be digging deep into movement and skill acquisition, the research, the theories, anecdotes, and experiences, and of course, practical application. And patrons will also be getting bonus episodes on the same topic at the same time. And at the end of the 2 or so months, I'll wrap it all up with a podcast episode and a newsletter. Now, I'm aiming for 3 or 4 of these focus periods this year, with a few loosies on other topics happening in between. We'll see how that goes. I might be making more work for myself, and it certainly remains to be seen if anyone else is going to find it valuable. But one thing I know for sure is that the way we're doing it now, the way we've been doing it, the status quo of podcasts and YouTube and blog posts is a ridiculously inefficient way to continue improving. We're probably at something like 90% entertainment, 10% useful education. And I don't think that should necessarily stop. I know people like it, and I like it. It's not a bad thing. I'm all for that continuing, but I think I can add more value to the conversation by doing something new, different, more focused. Something closer to 25% entertainment and 75% education. Now, I'm not necessarily interested in making the best podcast out there. To be honest, I think I've done that with one of my other shows, Written in Stone. But instead, I want this podcast to be the most useful podcast out there. And I have to thank our patrons and all of the supporters for making it possible for me to continuously reevaluate how we do things and for giving me the time and motivation to rework and retool and to raise the bar. So if you've been a supporter, if you're a patron, if you've bought our training plans or our courses or our products, or if you've just told a friend about the podcast or you've given a friend a finger file or whatever, thank you for the support. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. Okay, Next week, we begin our exploration of movement skills for climbers by talking with one of the world's leading researchers in skill acquisition and the constraints-led approach to coaching movement, Rob Gray. In the meantime, if you're psyched, go subscribe to The Current. And if you want to listen to an episode or two to get you primed for learning about moving, we've got recommendations in the show notes, some of which I'll be revisiting in the coming weeks in various ways. And while you're in there, you'll also find all of the ways you can go deeper with us, the Patreon, the newsletter, related courses, training plans, all of it, including the landing page for our movement skills resource library. And you can always find us at powercompanyclimbing.com. Learn, grow, excel.
It's time to build.